Welcome back to another episode of Crypto Miner Tips. All right, so I know it's been a while. You guys, welcome back to the channel. Miners, I do apologize. It has been crazy, crazy with work, crazy with everything that's going on in the world. So it's nice to finally be able to get back and start shooting YouTube videos again. And so, since some of my last videos, a lot's changed in the market. Bitcoin has finally broken its downward resistance. In my opinion, I think that we're on the verge of a bull market. Not financial advice, just my personal opinion. Obviously, everything that you watch on this channel is for educational purposes. But for those that don't know, I am actually the proud owner of a blog called Crypto Miner Tips. And so I do, have quite a bit of content on that website. If you want, there's going to be links down in the description for everything that I mentioned in today's video. But you can also, too, if you're new to cryptocurrency mining, I do have an ebook available on my website. I don't sell it. It's for free. It's going to have all, a lot of tips and tricks and stuff like that to kind of get you guys to be able to get the information that you need so that you can, start looking at getting into cryptocurrency mining. So with that said, I wanted to get into today's video, and so we're going to be talking about AMD cards, and specifically the RX 480 Sapphire Nitros. And so in my Facebook group, which again, it's going to be down in the link, a link down in the description below to be able to join that group. A lot of the people in the group have asked me to kind of discuss, overclocking and undervolting AMD cards, because it, believe it or not, it is a little bit tricky. It's gotten easier over the last few years, but it still can be kind of confusing on how to be able to properly undervolt and overclock these cards. And for those that are kind of new to cryptocurrency mining, basically overclocking means that we adjust certain settings on it so that we can get better mining performance out of it, and then undervolting it allows us to lower down the power consumption on it too as well, so that it makes the cards mine more efficiently and you get a much higher profitability out of your cards like that. So with that said, I was able to turn the farm back on. I got right now I got 7 workers. I got 3 8-card 1070s. I got 18 1080 Ti's. And I got a few RX 580s mining on this right here on 2 miners. And so you can see right here, profitability is right around, today I've mined about $43 worth of cryptocurrency in Ethereum. And the last 24 hours I've made $46 USD. And for the 30-day total, I've made $1,116. Okay. That does not factor in my electrical costs. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out, because my electric bill, I'm on a commercial rate, and so I have to burn over 6,000 kilowatt hours to get a cheaper electric rate. That's the deal that I've worked out with the utility company. And so now the race begins, because it's hot out where I live, so I don't want to plug in too many rigs on my mining farm and cause the building to get super hot, but I still want to be able to turn on enough rigs to burn over that 6,000 kilowatt hours so that I get a much cheaper rate on my electricity. And again, it increases my mining, my mining profitability. So with that said, like I said, we're going to be talking about the RX 580, take that back, the RX 480 8 gig Sapphire Nitros. And so these are the cards right here that I'm going to be mining with today, and showing you guys how to, increase the mining performance on them. So with that said, let's get right down into it. So there's going to be a couple things that you need. And again, I'm going to have links down in the description below to all this stuff. You're going to want this AMD ATI Pixel Clock Patcher. Essentially what it does is when you install the drivers, you run this patcher, and it does further things to the drivers so that you're able to mine cryptocurrency on it. So a lot of people complain like, hey, I'm only getting 9 mega hashes out of these RX 480s. Well, a couple things. One, have you put it in compute mode, which I'm going to cover in this video? And 2, have you ran this patchers that basically re-optimizes the drivers so that you get a better hash rate and performance. The other thing is, and this is kind of personal preference, and I've talked to a lot of different people about this, and I prefer for the RX 580s and the 480s, I prefer to use the beta blockchain drivers. I've seen other people just say, hey, download the latest AMD driver. Honestly, guys, I have tried that time and time again, and it has failed me. So if you're a mining pro and you got the secret sauce to make this work, please, by all means, drop a comment below. Let us know your tips and tricks and how you get that to work, because I've tried several times now, and I've had very, very little success. So again, if you got the secret sauce, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. So that's this one right here for Windows 64-bit. You don't really need this, but if you already have the cards, if say you bought some cards off the internet used and they already have a BIOS mod on them, and you want to reflash them back to stock BIOS, you could use this. First of all, you could go to, and I'll show you how to do this too as well. You could figure out what what memory chips that you have installed in those cards, and you can actually go to Tech PowerUp and get the original BIOS memory, the default settings for it, and reflash it back to the stock settings. Back in the old days, we used to use this a lot to be able to flash it and overclock the cards so that we could bake the BIOS in there and bake the settings into the card. But, now that Claymore 15's out, we've got all these different optimizations like RX Boost, and we got straps that we can apply inside the BAT file now. Flashing the BIOS this way is a thing of the past, in my opinion. You can still do it, and in fact, some people still do, but me, I like to keep things stupid, simple, and easy. So, or easy, simple, stupid. I think that's how it goes. Anyways, so yeah, there's that. The other thing you're going to need is Msi Afterburner. For this, I'm going to be using the beta download for this. You can probably get away with the regular download, but if you just want to follow along the way that I do it, you're probably going to be better off just downloading the beta. So with that said, let's get right down into it. So the first thing you're going to need to do is this. You got your Msi Afterburner here. Now, when you first download Msi Afterburner, you're going to notice this core voltage right here. And let me change this real quick so that, because most of you are going to have like a regular interface just like this. So the first thing that you're going to want to change is you want to be able to unlock the core voltage. It's going to be blurred out by default because they have it locked. And there's a couple steps that you can take to be able to unlock this core voltage on this particular piece of software. So there's this nifty little article right here. It's, how to unlock the core voltage in Msi Afterburner. And essentially, the first step it says is just to go into settings like this. And you'd basically check unlock voltage control and unlock voltage monitoring. And then you would hit apply, hit OK. Msi Afterburner would restart, and if you're super, super lucky, that will unlock the core voltage. Now, 9 times out of 10 for me, depending on the machine that I'm on, that has not been the case. Still go ahead and try it because it is an easy way to do it, but that may not get you to the river, okay, just so you know. So keep that in mind. And then the next step says right here is to go to the go to the program files times 86 Msi Afterburner. So, and what you'll do is you'll open it up, go down to Msi Afterburner, and you'll scroll down to the following fields. So what you would do here is this. So you would go to your C drive. Mine's actually E drive because but most of you people out there, you're going to be looking at your C drive for this. But I install all my programs on my E drive, so that's why I'm using this. So you go to your 86, programs 86, MSI Afterburner, and then you would go down to this CFG file right here. It's labeled MSI Afterburner. You're going to open this in Notebook, okay? So by default, it's going to ask you to select a program. To open this file, just select Notebook. What you're going to do, double-click on it, bring this down here, and what you're going to do, basically, is this. It says right here, it says scroll down to the following input fields and enter the values after the equal sign. So the first one's going to be the unofficial overclocking EULA, and basically after the equal sign you put this sentence in there, this one right here. So if we scroll all the way down to the bottom and go back up a little bit, right there it is. So there it is right here. So it's the unofficial overclocking EULA. So what you would do is you would just copy this sentence right here, and you would go boom, hit space, and then you would just copy that in there like that. The next step is to change the unofficial overclocking mode to 1. So what you would do is you go like that, and then you would hit save and save, okay? Now, that may not let you do that because, you know, depending on your administrative settings in your computer, what you may need to do is right-click on it, copy it, save it to your desktop, like paste it right here somewhere, then click on it, make the changes, and then what you would do is once you made the changes to it, you save the file, you close it out, you would just drag it, drop it over here. It's going to ask you if you want to replace the file. You click yes, and then you can go ahead and modify the file that way. And so that right there, again, if you're lucky, that may unlock the core voltage in MSI Afterburner, okay? However, more times than none, that has not been the case for me. So it gets even more confusing as you get further down. So this is where things got confusing for me. So that's why I'm creating this video to kind of help you guys out. So it says right here, it says step C, go to MSI Afterburner main directory and locate the profiles folder, or locate the profiles folder titled whatever this number, the serial number is right here. So basically what they mean is that you back in the same folder, you go back to your programs, program files 86, back to your MSI Afterburner, the same folder where you changed the you modified the CFG file. You would click on profiles, okay? Now, it's not going to be the exact same number as what's in this guide right here, but what you're looking for is some folders like this that have stuff like this in it. Okay? And so what you would do is basically you would just copy this like this. You would paste that in there like that. And boom. Now, before you go doing all that stuff, what I would recommend, let me delete this real quick, is if you are going to do that, Control-All, copy this file, copy the text in this file first, and paste it in an additional notepad, and then save it. And that way, if something goes wrong, something doesn't work, you have the original configuration that you can put back in there. And so we'll just go ahead and do it on this one. So we just copy this like this. Boom. Let me close that out to make sure I got the right file. And boom. Hit save. We're good to go. Now, if you only got one GPU on this unit, that's probably all you need to do. But if you got multiple GPUs on this rig, then you're going to have to do it for each one. So I got 2 cards on here, so I'm going to go like this. Boom. And I'm going to hit save, okay? Now, this almost 10 out of 10 times has been the case. I've had to work my way all the way through this list. And again, I'm going to have a link down in the description to this article, but I kind of wanted to show you guys that real quick, just to, you know, give you an idea of what it's going to take to be able to unlock MSI Afterburner for the core voltage. So with that said, once you turn on once you turn back on MSI Afterburner, this slider should be unlocked. You should be able to move it back and forth. You should be able to adjust this number. Now, it may look slightly different. Mine does that, as a matter of fact. You know, if I try to type in, you know, 950, or wait a minute, 950, it's going to go all the way to 100. So I don't want to do that, right? So we go back to 0, boom, there's 0 right there. And, you know, again, if you're a pro and you've seen this and I'm doing it wrong, honestly, I don't know any other way to do it when it does this like this. On some of my rigs, I'm able just to type in 950 and it'll actually move the needle in this direction. On this one, what I've been doing is just doing -50 and then hitting it like that. So I'm assuming that it's starting at 1,000 and I'm working my way backwards. I could be a little bit wrong on that, but I have noticed that when I adjust it, it does lower the power consumption on that. So there's that, and then from there, just like any other NVIDIA card, you can adjust the core clocks, you can adjust the memory clocks, you can set up fan profiles, all this stuff. You can, you know, even if you wanted to, you can enable and create your own custom fan profile right here. And, you know, set it, you know, so it's aggressive. Honestly, I don't mess with any of that. What I do is I check this box right here and I set a static fan speed always. I don't want my fans revving up and down, up and down. I have found that I get better longevity by just letting my fans run, okay? Some people may argue with me on that. It's a personal preference. And the thing that I will say to this, there's more ways than one to do it the right way, in my opinion, especially when it comes to cryptocurrency mining, okay? So it's really just a personal preference. Anyway, so once we get to that, okay, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take all the stuff that you downloaded that I previously mentioned, such as the Pixel Patcher. You're going to want to download that. I got that right here. I got both versions of the drivers. We're actually using the beta blockchain drivers on this one. I got hardware info, which hardware info you know, you can download this. This is basically what this is going to do is it's a monitoring system that's going to allow you to see if your overclocks settings are too high and if it's, you know, causing a lot of GPU errors and stuff like that. So I'll get into that in a second, but basically it's just a big giant panel that monitors a lot of different sensors on your computer, okay? Other than that, what else do we got? We got the ATI flash. So if you wanted to, you could actually, and let me back up here. Sorry about that. It's firing up GPU-Z. So what you could do, so GPU-Z is another great tool. So you are going to need this as well. And again, it's just a big giant monitor tool to let you know what RAM you got, all that stuff. So when you fire this up, GPU-Z, you can see right here under my device manager that I have 2 Radeon RX 480 graphics cards. Okay, so this also too lets me know, you know, what GPU I have in here. It also lets me know, you know, the memory. I got 8 gigs of memory on this, but it also lets me know the memory type. So this one actually has Samsung. So if I wanted to, I could just click on this button right here and, you know, get a lot of different data about the card, get the BIOS and stuff like that. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy this, search, and I'm going to go Samsung BIOS. So if you really, really wanted to, you could go to Tech Power Up you know, say you got a card off the street from somebody, it's used, you know, it's got a BIOS flash on it, or you're just unsure. You want to make sure that you got a default BIOS on it. You know, you could go ahead, you could download this ROM right here like that. So now you got the ROM file. And then from here, what you could do is you could right click on this. Again, it's probably going to glitch out when I do this, so bear with me. There we are. We're back now. And so what this Polaris editor does is, you know, essentially what you can do is you can load the image. So we go back to downloads. We could find that ROM file that we just downloaded from Tech Power Up. We can open it, and then we could actually, you know, select the GPUs that we got. Boom, boom. We could select this one, and then we could hit program. Boom. And basically what that's going to do is it's going to take that ROM file and all those BIOS settings, and it's going to flash it back to the default settings. So, and then from there, instead of just doing a BIOS flash, you know, to have your overclock settings applied, you could just use Msi Afterburner for all this stuff. Again, it's probably not the you know, a pro miner is going to actually try to optimize it further with a different, you know, using the editor. They're going to try and optimize the ROM file, and then they're going to upload that ROM file and bake those settings in there. But what I found is I prefer to be able to adjust my overclock settings inside of Msi Afterburner, because I may have one card in there that's weak, that can't handle the BIOS flash. And so I want to be able to, you know, fine tune my rigs and stuff like that. So I prefer to do all my overclocking and undervolting straight in Msi Afterburner. And for a beginner, this is a really, really good way to learn it, in my opinion. So there's that. And again, that's the Polaris BIOS editor right there. You can go ahead and download that. What else? What else do we have? You may need DDU. So DDU, if you got to uninstall the drivers a couple times, this right here, what this does, if somebody ever tells you to DDU the drivers, what they mean is to download this on your computer. You can download it right here. And what it's going to do is it's going to scan the hardware. It's going to figure out the drivers that you have on there, and it's going to go ahead and delete all the drivers off the computer, okay? And then you can go ahead and reinstall the drivers. The reason why you need to do that sometimes is because you need to be able to clear the whole computer of all the registry files and just start over. So if you crash anything, if the drivers are glitching out, you know, your cards are not being recognized in the device manager right here. Say, for instance, you know, you put the cards in there, but maybe they're down here and they're still not installed yet. They say basic display adapter or something like that. Or they have like a yellow caution symbol in there and they're just kind of glitching out. First of all, if you have a yellow caution symbol in there, what you're going to want to do is go ahead and run that AMD, this patcher right here. You just click on it like that. I'm not going to run it right now, but you just click on it. It'll say drivers, it'll say successful or something like that. You click OK, and you go ahead, you reset the computer, and when it reboots, you'll notice that all your cards are recognized in the device manager. So that's kind of like the trick with it, okay? What else is in here? I think that's really it. So there's DDU. You know, that's all you really need. The only other thing you're really going to need for this, if you are looking to kind of follow along, is you're going to need Claymore 15. Straight up, you can go to GitHub, you can go to Bitcoin Talk and download it there if you want. You know, just select your operating system. We're on Windows, so we would select this one right here, the zip file, and just download it, okay? Keep in mind, if you're doing this on your everyday computer, you're probably going to have to disable or add some exceptions to your antivirus, because some of this software, the way that it operates, you know, it's open source software, so it is going to trigger a false positive in your antivirus. So just keep that in mind, okay? What else? That's really it for that, you know? So let's get down to the good stuff. So, Claymore. A lot's changed with this since I first started using this. If you go through this, this has a, if you just go, once you download Claymore and you unzip it into a folder, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to, so I unzip this folder. You see how this is the zip file and it was super, super long. The first thing you're going to want to do is just rename it to something short like Clay. And I'll show you why later, but you're just going to want to change it to a shorter name so it's not, you know, so long. But once you get inside here, there's some files in here. You know, we got some log files. Let me delete these real quick. But there's this wonderful README right here, okay? And it goes through and it explains the different things like ePool. You know, you got to have this flag in your bat file, eWallet for your wallet, eWorker, you know, all these different things. I highly recommend that you read through it because it'll explain a lot of what these are called flags that you can apply to the bat file, such as power limit, Memclock, core clock, things like that. The big ones that we're interested in is RX boost and the straps. Okay, so before, like I said, we used to be able to, we used to edit and flash the BIOS and apply strap settings in the BIOS, and it would basically bake those into the card. But because now Claymore has added these straps to the miner, we don't have to do, you know, we don't have to do all that stuff anymore. So super, super simple. So once you get down here though, so we're kind of just follow along, you know, we're kind of just doing an over shoulder to show you how to also set up and mine Ethereum. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to go down to this bat file where it says start. You're going to hit edit, okay? Now, I already have stuff already in here, but, you know, we got, you can see right here, we got e-wallet. We got the wallet right here. We got the strap already applied. We got RX boost. Now, the first time that you fire this thing up, it's gonna look like this. It's gonna just have this right here and this right here, okay? It's gonna look just like that by default. It may not even have these straps in here, all right? When you first download it from GitHub or Bitcoin Talk. But what you're gonna wanna do is we're gonna save it. So what you're going to want to do is make sure that you're in your Claymore folder. So just make sure you go back out one, log back in, and then what you're going to do is you're going to click on this folder right here, and it's going to bring up this file directory right here. You're going to copy it, right? You're going to right click, you're going to copy it. You're going to go back, you're going to hit edit, okay? You're going to put a / right there. Then you're going to hit Control V and you're going to copy and paste that in there. Now, you see how I got this little white space right here? Because I have that little white space right there, if you have that, what you got to do is you got to wrap this whole thing in parentheses. If you don't have a space anywhere in this right here, anywhere over here, you don't have to put it in parentheses. And then you put a parentheses at the end there. And, you know, this would be actually technically be gone. But what you're going to do is you're going to do driver install like that. So you're going to have hyphen driver install. Then you would close that out like this, and you would hit save, right? And so what you would do is you would right click on this and you would hit run as administrator, and give me a second here. It fired up. And mine's just, it's just trucking along. But if you've done everything correctly, essentially what it's going to do, let's do this again. See right here, it says driver is in use. Basically, it said driver's in use. I already have the drivers installed, so it's not going to do it normally, but basically, if you've done everything right, it'll say driver successfully installed. You can go ahead and restart your machine from that point. So it's going to apply the drivers, okay? So once the computer reboots back up, you're going to go to edit, and you're going to get rid of this driver installed, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to apply the straps. Now the straps go 1 through 5. So you can try 1 first, fire up the mining rig. If 1 doesn't work or doesn't give you good settings, go back, re-edit, try 2, save it, fire the mining rig back up. The rig may crash a couple times. It may, throw a blue screen, whatever. And that's just because you haven't found the right strap for it yet. So again, you just try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all you get, okay? I already know 2 works best for mine. And then if you're on obviously AMD cards, RX Boost, okay? Now, this goes in increments of 5. So you can try 5, 10. It goes all the way up to 25, I do believe. I'm going to try 15 right there because I think that's what I had it at. And then I'm just going to hit save. Now, obviously, if you're mining in real life, I do want to mention this. You're going to want to get your wallet and swap out your wallet address because I've talked to a few people. They were mining for a few days. They didn't even switch out the wallet address, and I feel bad. So moving forward, in every video that I do, I'm going to try and look out for the new guy, okay? So at that point, what we're going to do is we're going to hit save, okay? Now, in order to fire up this miner properly and apply everything, you're going to hit right-click on it and run as administrator. And so now we can run it as administrator. When we right-clicked on it, I got 2 cards. They're firing up now. What we can do from here, so it's going to be applying the settings. It's going to say it's going to apply the timings, all that stuff. Now, I will tell you that because I'm using dual screens and I'm streaming on Streamlabs OBS at the same time, one of my cards is going to actually mine at a lesser hash rate than the other. It's just because the other one is it's doing tasks and all that other stuff. So you can see right here, I get 30 mega hashes on the second card. I get 23 on the other one. And it's just because I got 2 monitors and I'm recording and doing lots of other processes. So what we can do from here is we can fire up our GPU-Z and we can take a look and we can see that, right around a power draw of 85, 84 watts on this one. We can check out the other graphics card here and see that we're right around, 84, 85 watts on this card, which is pretty good, right? It's pretty good. All right, so what else can we do? So the other thing that you want to do is you want to go back out to your main folder here, and you're going to want to fire up the hardware info. So that one right here, run. Again, it's going to run as administrator. I'm going to cancel that actually. Exit setup. I already have it installed, so I don't need to. Like I said, I already had it installed, so I don't need to install it for the very first time. We're going to let this run for a second. All right, so now we got this pulled up, okay? So I'm going to move this right down here. I'm going to move this right over here. And now we're going to fire up Msi Afterburner. We got all that fired up. So you're actually going to have stock settings on this, so it's going to look something like this right here. So what you're going to need to do is go ahead, apply the fans. And then most of these AMD cards, you're going to be at somewhere around 1100 to 1200, anywhere from 1000. I would start at 1000 and go up in 100, 100 increments. So I'd start at 1000, then I would actually go up in increments of 50. So I'd start at 1000, then I would try 1050. If that runs good, I would try 1100, and then, you know, try to push it to the limit. So for the Memclock, it varies. You could start at 1900 and go up in increments of 25. So, but for these cards right here, I know that I can push them to right around 2100. So I'm going to apply that setting right there, like that. And there you have it. So then what we do from here is we keep an eye on the wattage. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go -50 and apply that setting right there. And you can see right there, we're burning right around 124 watts on this card. See if we can get that to drop down some. May take a bit, but we're right about 62 Celsius. So the other thing that you're going to want to do from here, so now as you're adjusting the core voltage, you're adjusting the core clock, you're adjusting the Memclock. Hopefully you're turning up the fans so that your cards don't go over. I try to keep my cards under 65. Now 70's fine too. Once you start getting above that, in my opinion, you're causing a lot of wear and tear in your cards. I'm not saying your cards can't handle it, but you don't want to run them for long periods of time like that. You know, you're going to start seeing the thermal paste and the thermal pads break down. You're going to have this oily substance all over your graphics cards. It's going to be awful. Trust me. Anyways, on hardware info, you want to monitor with the sensors. And so you're going to scroll all the way down until you see GPU 0 and GPU 1. So right here you see GPU 0 and you see right here GPU memory errors. I have 0. That is good. If I start pushing the clocks up higher, I may notice that I start getting a lot of errors. Now it's okay if you get a few, but if you notice and you're getting a lot of errors, then that probably means that you have too high of an overclock setting. You need to either back these down, maybe readjust this. And you can see right here, I went back down to that 85 watts. And I could probably tune this down further. I could probably, you know, maybe go to, you know, -55. Start there. You know, see if I can get it down further, right? But essentially that's it. That's, you know, you do the core voltage right here, and that undervolts it, and then your overclocking is adjusted in your core clock and your Memclock settings, okay? And essentially that's it. That's all there really is to overclocking and undervolting AMD cards. Now the 5700s and the AMD Radeon 7s, very, very similar approach, I imagine. I haven't had a chance to get my hands on those cards because I'm still selling some of my old cards, and my fiance said I can't get new graphics cards until I sell the old ones. So there's that. But yeah. Anyways, so there you have it. I don't know what other questions you guys have. If you guys have RX 480 cards or 580s, this will also work on the 580s too, right? You know, if you can, drop a comment below what your settings are, what you're getting, how many mega hashes. You know, I'd like to see and kind of compare notes and see, you know, what kind of wattage people are able to get their cards down to while still maintaining a hash rate and stuff like that. I've seen people been capable of getting these cards with the overdriven tool, being able to adjust them and tweak them all the way down to about 30, or get them at 32 mega hashes, pulling like something crazy like 75 watts and stuff like that. Honestly, I haven't had the time to do that. You know, I'm okay with 30 mega hashes, honestly, and you should be okay too. Don't get caught up in the details. If you see somebody posting in another group that they got 32 mega hashes while the chances are they're either really, really good at what they do and they've further tuned some other settings in there. But you really got to know what you're doing when you do that sort of thing. 30 mega hashes is great for these cards. So you try to push it any further than that, you're going to start running into glitches and hardware errors and, you know, all kinds of crazy stuff. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, I'd love to see some comments in the comment section below about, you know, the different overclock settings and the different hash rates that you guys are able to get. So Again, if you guys want to head on over to Crypto Miner Tips, I'm going to have a link down in the description below for this. Go head on over there, grab an ebook, put your email in. The other thing is that we do have a private Facebook group, Crypto Miner Tips. Head on over to Facebook, type in Crypto Miner Tips, join the group. Even if you're, not brand new to mining, if you're an OG, we'd love to have you in the group, hang out with us. The other thing too is if you're looking for mining hardware to build a GPU mining rig, we do have a mining hardware section over here with all kinds of parts, some of the best parts from Amazon to mine profitably. So basically what I did is I put all these parts guides together. So, you got GPUs, all the latest GPUs, which I do need to update to the 5700s, all the parts that you need to be able to build a mining rig. And then also too, I do have this guide out now and a YouTube video that I actually am embedded in this article that's on my YouTube channel on how to build a mining rig step by step. Arguably one of the most detailed YouTube videos out of all of them that shows you over the shoulder how I build my mining rigs, the secret sauce. So if you guys have enjoyed this video, I appreciate you guys watching it. And I hope that you guys can, like me enough. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button. Click the bell so that you get a notification and be on the lookout for the next video. We'll see you guys later.